guys, welcome back to Captain Bailey's Adventures and Book Reviews. And this is an unofficial pipe chat because I'm not outside. I'm in my library. Well, my book rack anyway. That's what attains to my small percentage. I had dreams of once having a wall-to-wall room of books. You know, lay out, like build like a bookshelf that went like wrapped around the room, painted like dark mahogany. You know, candelabras, you know, just sit there, you know, with the pipe in my mouth and read my books. Yeah, well, then you have 3 kids and then that goes down the tube and everything that I was going to do eventually is, well, hey, that's life. Hey, so that's what I'm left with, my little small section of books. So now I go to the library. Alright, so on the chopping block today for Captain Bailey's book reviews, I do have a book review on my channel that I did ages ago. I forget what book it was. I believe it was a Lovecraft book. Yes, it was. It was a Lovecraft book. Not H.P. Lovecraft. There might have been one story in there, but you know, it's like the new Lovecraft Circle type thing. They, you know, new writers take his work and they expound on it and things like that. So if you want to look in the channel, if I can remember when this video is done, to do a description link, something like that, I'll get to it. So on today is, hopefully this comes in focus because obviously I don't have a cameraman, but the Club Dumas. My friend, the mistress, she would know what this is about. We might have actually purchased this book together back in the day, in our old college days. #1 bestseller. On Captain Bailey's book reviews, though, I'll go into a little bit of the plot and things like that. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm not going to give away the ending. It's up for you if you ever want to go out there and scour their internet to, you know, maybe you want to read this book. They did make this into a movie with Johnny Depp and directed by Roman Polanski, called The Ninth Gate. So if you've seen The Ninth Gate, then you know what this book is about, except that there is some differences. So let me just read the back of the book. A thriller of marvelous intricacies. The New York Times book review. Lucas Corso, a middle-aged, tired, and cynical, is a book detective, a mercenary hired to hunt down rare editions for the wealthy and unscrupulous clients. When a well-known bibliophile is found hanged, leaving behind part of the original manuscript of Alexander Dumas's The Three Musketeers, Corso is brought in to authenticate the fragment. The task seems straightforward, but unsuspecting Corso is soon drawn into a swirling plot involving devil worship, occult practices, and swashbuckling daring-dos. Among a cast of characters bearing suspicious resemblance to those of Dumas's manuscript, aided by a mysterious beauty named for the Conan Doyle heroine, Corso travels from Madrid to Toledo to Paris in pursuit of the sinister and seemingly omniscient killer. Part mystery, part puzzle, part witty intellectual game. The Club Dumas is a wholly original intellectual thriller by the international bestseller author of The Flanders Panel and The Civil Communion. And then, you know, it gives the whole, you know, New York Times what they say, and they, of course, you know, it's marketing. They're just going to rave about it and say, it's the greatest thing ever. Oh yeah. Okay. But anyway, it's by Arturo Perez Ferretti. Obviously, this was written in Spanish and then translated. This particular novel was done by Vintage Printing, Vintage International, and let me see, I believe this is a first edition. This is, English is copyrighted in 1996, but it does say that Random House, basically I guess Vintage is part of a random, you know, it's owned by Random House. And yes, it's his first Vintage International edition, April 1998. So that's when I got it. And basically, this book, if you notice, I keep looking this way at my timer. Yes, because this camera only does 10 minutes at a time, as I keep saying. Um, so, what's this book about? Obviously, that's what it says on the back. But in the movie, the whole Dumas thing, that whole part of it about the Dumas manuscript and how he's hired to come in there and look at it, it's not in the movie. It's just basically him looking for the ninth gate, or this book called The Ninth Gate of the Kingdom of Shadows. Basically, it's a book reputed to summon the devil. And so basically, he's hired in the novel. He's hired by this guy to authenticate this book. There's only 3 known copies left in the world, and it's up to him to authenticate that. That part in the movie, is the same. But the whole thing, he's also authenticating this manuscript from Dumas. It has been brought on the market, and so basically you have 2 stories in one, and then he gets so sidetracked with the Dumas thing, and basically the characters in the movie, they're trying to get the Dumas manuscript, not the 9 Doors. All right, the Ninth Gate book. So that's the only thing I don't like about the movie. They took that out. I think it would have been more interesting to see both. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I've read this, I can't even remember how many times I read it. I always read it at least once a year or every other year. See, I'm kind of weird with my books. That's what I do. I normally read them once a year, or if I really enjoy the book, if it's one of my favorites, like Jaws, I'll read that once a year. This is either once a year or every other year. Whenever I get a hankering for it, I'll, go get a book off the shelf and just like, okay, yeah, man, I'll read this again. What else about this book? It's a great story. I mean, it's a love story. It's about, Satan, who basically is in human form and falls in love. And a lot of people were having a question, as to, like if you think about the movie and everything, that it's in the movie. It's not. It's the girl is unknown. As is she a demon? Is she a fallen angel? But no, she is basically Satan in woman form, and basically that's what the whole book is about. I mean, there's clues in the novel about who she is, and they keep pointing it out. She even points it out to him, and he says, "Do you want me to sign a contract?" See, it's alluding to that. How you gotta sign your contract to sell your soul and things like that. And there's another novel called The Devil in Love by Jacques Corzet or whatever. I have it over here somewhere, but it's all the way down the bottom. I can't get it. But that's in the novel as well, and they talk about that. And they talk about that repeatedly in the book about how she is the devil. She buys that book, The Devil in Love. Okay, so you're like, well, all right. The devil's following around, really has a hankering for him, wants him to solve the puzzle of this 9 doors, and basically that's what it's about. It's about this book, this evil book, and then the whole Dumas thing. They're like, it's really interesting. It takes you it's a mystery, it's a thriller, it's a love story, wrapped up all in one. I mean, what else can I say? But it's a really great read. It's one of my favorites. It's got a special place for me. I believe I even read this. Just picked it up. It was in the mysteries. It was in the mystery section, and I actually picked this up and read it actually before the movie came out, which was great because normally I never really do that. I read the Da Vinci Code, but I read the Da Vinci Code. Well, you know what? No, actually, sorry. With the Da Vinci Code, the movie came out, and then we bought the book together, my wife and I. And we bought the book first. She read it. I read it, and then we went and rented it. I don't think we saw it in theaters because by then it was already out. But then we rented it and compared it, like that. But so yeah, I do highly recommend this if it's still in print, or check, eBay or Amazon. You might be able to pick it up. The Club Dumas. On the Captain scale, it's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 read. I do, it does has its issues for me, like the ending. Because, listen, one of the most famous quotes in the book is, there is no innocent readers anymore. Unless you're a child, everything basically for us as adults, reading is always, we're not innocent anymore. We're not like, you can't just go into a novel and when you're reading the author's work, really just read it for what it is. I mean, because your mind is going to go and be influenced by film, by everything that we've been tainted by movies and things like that. So like back in the day when you were used to, before TV and before, and there was the opera, and we're talking like hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, whatever. Back then, when these books first came out, you're like, wow, like that was your form of entertainment, and your brain was like, I want to read more, and like you really, formed the characters in your mind and everything else. But now it's like, because this is made in a movie, now it's like I see Johnny Depp when I'm reading the book now. You can't help but do that, and so it's like, and it's so true. You are tainted by what what you see in films and your influences, and and so it's like you just can't. I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but maybe I'm just getting off track. But that's what I'm trying to say is like you're gonna like think of it from the movie perspective, okay? Like I'm a big horror fan, horror buff, movie buff. So if I'm reading a horror novel, it's like I'm seeing images as if they were in a film. So it's not like but it's different from book to book. But on a side note, this would be interest to my friend, the mistress, and she just did a book review on her channel. So I wanted to share this. Now, we are both big Lovecraft fans, and the first book that really got me into horror, besides Stephen King, I was a big Stephen King fan in high school, but in this little bookstore that we both frequent, it was the only bookstore in our neighborhood, and we picked up, this is the first one in the series, H.P. Lovecraft at the Mountains of Madness, and these are by Del Rey Horror. I believe they're out of print now, and I had to scour the bowels of the internet and pay like top dollar to get the last one in the series. See, I have them all, and she wanted to know that, so there you go. I have them all, and basically, I believe I picked up H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, and just like the cover art is just so crazy, and it has like the weirdo Cthulhu like goat's eye with inside like some. Looks like some sort of fish creature, Innsmouth thing. It's got real strange stuff there. The artwork is just amazing. I've kept these books in really, really good condition, and they've stood the test of time so far. Yeah, so I picked up. This was the first one that I picked up in the series, and then it was there's that one. Then it came the Doom that came to Sarnath. Now this is the one I did not have, and I had to scour the internet to get it. The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. That's just the one novel. Lovecraft's. It's the only one that's considered really his novel. The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. So I got that one, and I was like, yes, I got the whole collection. And then my buddy, I believe, because he talked about it being unnameable, and that's the unnameable on the front. On the front, I believe. Well, no, because unnameable wasn't. You couldn't see the unnameable. I believe. The picture of the monster in the window is from The Lurking Fear. So notice this book is called The Lurking Fear. But Unnameable is in this book. So I believe this is the one that she got, and I picked up this one. And eventually somehow I got wound up, either the bookstore had more of the copies and I got them all except for the Case of Charles Dexter Ward. The next one is The Dream Quest of Unknown Cadet. And last but not least, The Tomb. And these are all by Del Rey. And they all have, like I said, they all have that great artwork. And that's what that, being little, high school kids or preteens, 12, 13 years old, going into your local bookshop and seeing that, I mean, wow, you're like, oh, horror, oh, yeah. So, that's it for Pipe Chats today, unofficial Pipe Chats. Since I'm not smoking, but I figured I want to blog. It's always a pipe chat vlog, whatever. So, me and the first mate are just chilling. Now, next on next month or whenever the next book review comes out, it'll be for this one. This is another one of my favorites. It's a love story, but I'm not going to go into any more than that. It's called Vaporetto 13. Vaporetto 13. That's next. Okay? So that'll be next. I'm rereading that one as we speak, so review won't be like tomorrow or anything. What's next on the channel? Let's see. Oh, yeah. For those of you that you're like, well, where's the captain at, man? Where is he at? Well, he's gone. Yeah, spring is here finally, and hey, it's been 6 months. I had that for 6 months, man. That's the longest I've ever had the beard. Okay. And well, I had to get the hair cut anyway, so I was like, you know what? We'll do it. We'll do it. So that's what we'll do, I guess, from now on. Every 6 months. 6 months from now, November comes, stop shaving, and we'll grow it in. Yep. So I'm as clean as the first mate, man. Woo! Look at that shine. Just did that today. So I don't know when this video is going to come out, because they're going to come in series. So hey. Till we do it again, my friends, the captain's going to sign off for now. Hope you found this enjoyable. Let me know in the comments for those that like to read and smoke their pipe at the same time. Hey, pick this one up, man. This is a good read to have with a pipe. That is for sure. So till we do it again, let's set sail.